I've got the new Urban Decay Wild West eyeshadow palette to share with you guys today. I purchased this off of the Sephora website for $49, and this is the outside box packaging. Pricing of the Wild West palette is right in line with the Naked Ultraviolet, the Naked Cherry, and also the Naked Honey palette, but there's a little bit of a difference between the amount of product that you're getting. The Naked Ultraviolet palette is the only one that has the same amount of product as this one, so the Wild West has got 12 eyeshadows that are 0.03 ounces per shade, as does the Ultraviolet palette. So the Naked Cherry palette has got 0.038 ounces, and then the Naked Honey palette has got 0.033 ounces of product. So there's a little bit more product that you're getting in Cherry and Honey versus the Wild West palette. I do see on the packaging of this one, which I don't think I've ever seen this on an Urban Decay palette, is this is a vegan formula. It's got a little stamp in the corner of the box there. It also says on the packaging that the bulk is made in the USA and assembled in the Dominican Republic, and the brush that's included in the palette is made in China. The packaging is very similar to the Naked Ultraviolet and also the Naked Cherry palette. It's a hard plastic packaging. Since this one is the Naked Wild West, they decided to put kind of a holographic snakeskin in the background, which I do think that this packaging is very pretty to look at, but I don't get snake vibes when I look at it. I get like dragon scales when I look at this, and I think they're kind of triggering like rattlesnakes, because I often feel like rattlesnakes are associated with, you know, Western stuff. And even though I really like this packaging, I think that they could have done a lot more with the Wild West theme. Like, for me, I would have loved to see maybe some canyon style background with some horses running across it, but that's me being a little biased. But I think that would have been really pretty. Again, this doesn't give me snake vibes, it gives me like dragon scale vibes. I think of the Game of Thrones when I look at this packaging on this palette, but it is really pretty nonetheless. And then the Naked Urban Decay portion is a little raised, and the Wild West is just printed flat on the packaging. And then when you flip it open, you do have the mirror in there, and it comes with the kind of standard double-ended brush that Urban Decay includes, a soft synthetic flat shader, and then a little bit more of a blend out. This one's got a pinch to it, the blend out on this one. And then the inside is a clear acrylic that says Naked on it. I never really use these brushes, but they are functional if you do like to have the brushes inside the palette. So there are 4 shimmer metallic shades and then 8 matte eyeshadows. There was one shadow, this Cowboy Rick shade. These names are quite hilarious. I would have loved to name this palette for Wild West, but anyway, was the most flaky type of shade. So I got a little bit of fallout with that shade right there. I didn't have much of a problem with any of the other shades in here except for that one. And for it to have that flakiness, I expect a lot of oomph from a shade like that, and that's the shade I have on the inner portion of my lid. And it doesn't, it's pretty, but it does not pop like it should for being a flaky type of shade like that. The metallics are really pretty, but they're very standard type of metallic eyeshadows. They are pretty though. If you were to like take out these 2 turquoise shades, you can see that it's a very neutral leaning palette. And I do like the turquoise shades that are in there. They're safe turquoises, I guess I would say, like nothing too in your face. So if you're ever kind of scared of wearing like a teal turquoise eyeshadow, I think you would be safe with these shades because they're a little bit more subdued. The matte eyeshadows in here are a little bit thinner, a little bit dustier of a formula, but I didn't have any problems blending them out, which I have had problems with blending out Urban Decay's mattes in the past, but their more recent releases have worked really well for me. And I do think that the array of shades in here is really nice. You've got, you know, that lighter kind of shimmer shade, a little bit of mid-tone shimmer shades. You've got some lighter mattes, blend outs, and then some deeper shades over here. So this palette for me is a one and done. There's nothing super unique about any of the eyeshadow colors in here. They're very kind of basic shades, and I do feel like we've seen a lot of these shades in past Urban Decay releases. Like the closest palette that it reminds me of is the Naked Heat, and I'll zoom up close and show you guys those 2 palettes together because there are some very similar shades amongst these 2 palettes. I do like this palette, but I wish that Urban Decay would get a little something extra in some of these Naked palettes, like give us a little bit more oomph. And I think I feel that way because of like all the indie brands that I try that have such like special, reflective, beautiful, multi-dimensional shades in them. I think of like Kaleidos and Nomad and Cleona Cosmetics, stuff like that. I keep wishing that Urban Decay would like dive into that realm. The closest thing that I've found from Urban Decay that kind of has that, besides some of their single like sparkle shadows, is the Stone Vibes palette. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in and give you guys some swatches. So here is the packaging. Again, it's very, very pretty packaging. This here is a little bit more holographic looking in person than I think it's appearing in the viewfinder. And then here is your mirror, and then here are your shades. So you've got Standoff, Spur, Nudie, Laredo, Ghost Town, Whiskey, Tex, and Pony Up. Those are the matte shades. And then for the shimmer metallics, you've got Hold'em, Cowboy Rick, Bud, and Rustler. Hold'em and Rustler are the most kind of metallics, and then Bud is kind of a shimmer, and then you've got Cowboy Rick, which has got some silver micro glitters in it, and that's the shade that I found a bit chunky that I got Fallout with. Let's go ahead and give you guys some swatches here. And then these next four. And then the last four matte shades. Oh. So those are all the swatches right there. Kind of zoomed up real close here. You guys can see those. And then here is a side-by-side of the Naked Heat, which is on top, and the new Wild West, which is on the bottom. And then I think I'll do a side-by-side too of the Naked Honey, because these shades right here kind of have a bit of yellowness to them. So here it is next to the Naked Honey, which is on top, and Wild West on the bottom right there. Hopefully that was helpful for you guys. I do like this palette. I got along with the formulation really well. I was just wishing for a little bit more oomph out of some, especially some of those like shimmer shades. And the mattes blended out really well. Very, very minimal fallout. And overall, it's a neutral palette with 2 pops of teal. So now if you're interested in the look that I have on my eyes and how these shadows perform for me, you can hang tight and we will get into it right now. I'm going to go ahead and prime my lids with the CoverGirl in Olay Simply Ageless foundation. And this is the lightest one in 200 Fair Ivory. And I've just got a little synthetic Real Techniques brush. And I'm just going to put a light coating of that from the lash line to up underneath the brow. Then using a flat shader brush, this is an old one from Wayne Goss, his old 18. I'm going to go into the shade Cowboy Rick, which is a shimmery one. And I'm going to put that on the first third of the lid right up in here. And I'm going to bring it up higher on me so that it's more visible with my hooded lid. Flipping over and using that same brush, I'm going to go into the turquoise shimmer, which is called Bud, and put that on the remaining of the 2/3 of my lid and bring it up again above that crease line right there so you can see it better, and blend it into the Cowboy Rick shade. And then for me, I like to just kind of fade it downwards like this and pull it up right through here for my eye shape, and then I'll flip it back over without picking up any more product and blend those 2 shades together. Then using a Chikuhodo GSM 9, I'm going to go into a matte called Tex, which is the teal, the kind of deeper teal matte shade. And I'm going to angle it from the edge of my lash line with the tail end of my brow. And I got to tilt my head back to kind of really get in the crevice there. I've got a little bit of fallout from that shimmer shade. Not with the matte, but that first shade that we put on. I love to mix that type of teal color with like an orange, but you do have to be careful with the blending because you can get muddy. So I'm going to pick up Ghost Town, which is the most orange matte in the palette, on a Refer P07E brush. And I'm going to pick it up pretty heavily and kind of stamp it on before I start blending it to get the most out of it, but also to not get it muddied where it meets the turquoise, which is very easy to do with these type of colors. Just kind of going to stamp it in there before I blend. Then I'm going to take this Esom G29 and go into this matte shade called Standoff before we further blend here. Then I'm going to use that same Refer brush and go into the shade Spur, which is kind of like a peachy matte. I'm going to put that up here. And blend it up into that shade and really kind of get it in at the base of the brow right here. I'm not going to pick up any more product, but I'm going to take that G29 and just lightly feather it in here to get a little bit of a blend, but I don't want to overdo it. I'm going to go back with my G29 and just kind of buff out the edges just a little bit. I just love a burnt orange mixed with that teal. I think it's so pretty. I'm going to go ahead and finish up my eye makeup and I'll be right back to put on some lips for you guys. For lips, I've got the Makeup Forever Artist pencil, and this is in 600 Anywhere Caffeine. I'm just going to line and fade it inwards. And then to fill them in, I have got MAC's lipstick, and this is in Peachstock, which kind of matches that brown terracotta that we put on. I'm going to put this on and really fade it into that, or mesh it in with that lip liner. And there is the overall finished look using the new Urban Decay Naked Wild West eyeshadow palette. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to wear sunscreen, and I will see you guys later. Bye.